Hello, brother. This is Clay, Clay's AC and Auto Repair and Clay Motion here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. If this video is helpful, please like, share, send me your nice comments. Most of all, subscribe and share my videos. Remember, you can't break what's already broken, so we're going to show you how to break it some more. So what we've got is a 2002 Ford Escape. This is my personal daily driver. It's a wreck, but it's mine, so I don't know anybody for it. So it is what it is. It has salvage title on it. I got it I've had it for about 3 or 4 years, and I use it to whip around during the winter time because snow's pretty bad up here, and it runs pretty good. What we're doing is we're doing some AC. The problem with the air conditioner in this isn't that it doesn't work. The problem is that the Schrader valve is bad. So we're going to take a regular thing here. We're going to have to get the evacuator out and evacuate the system and collect some Freon, because I guess it's still got a little bit in it. So we'll do that, and then we'll remove the Schrader valve, and we'll show you how to fill your AC on this thing. So we extracted the Freon, and now we've got the Schrader valve that's like this. You can buy these kits, and the kit will include most of the Schrader valves. You're going to find over any manufacturer, BMW, it doesn't matter. I don't know about Yugos, but you know, people that are still rocking them things. But most of the time, your Schrader valve is going to be either large like this or small like the Schrader valve that's inside your tire stem. Now, the kit will come with both sizes. This is obviously your low side. That's generally where I personally liquid fill them. Some guys do gas fills from the high side, which is over here. I'm going to replace both of them just because I'm here, but my defective one was actually out of there. And when I filled this air conditioning up, I could take my finger with the engine off and I could just go like this, and I could hear it change. And on another video I showed you that it would bubble out of there. It's pretty common failure. If you use a vac tool and you use gauges, you're going to know these things. I highly recommend, if you're fixing your air conditioning at your house, go to Harbor Freight, buy you a set of inexpensive gauges, get you a little vac pump, vac it out. Because the worst thing for air conditioning systems is to have air inside them, which creates acid. It mixes with your R134A, and then it degrades the rest of your system. Now, you might have a small leak that comes around once a year. If you fill that air conditioning system the proper way, the way that I'm going to show you how to do it, you might save that system for 5 or 6 years before you have a real big problem that you have to spend hundreds of dollars on, or pay somebody like me to figure out where the leak is coming from. So I'll show you that here in a second. We'll vac it down, and then we'll start filling it with Freon, and I'll show you how to read your gauges a little bit the Clay way. Not necessarily the right way, but it's my way. So we'll be back to do that here in a second. Okay, so here's what we got inside our kit. We got 2 caps, a couple Schrader valves. We actually had 4, but I used one of them in my wife's Saab. We had a smaller one like that. It looks as if we're going to end up using this Schrader valve here. Now notice it doesn't look the same. That's okay. It's a Schrader valve. It's designed to close it. The kit number, which I got here at my local ACI parts store, which is a car care. What did they sell? I don't remember. But this is part number anyways. And that was the kit I got for this 03 Ford Escape. But like I said, the extra Schrader valve actually worked in my wife's 04 Saab 9.3, so that worked out great. We're going to throw this in there, and then we're going to vac it down. And while I'm vacuuming it down, I'm going to show you a couple of little tidbits. Here's my old dirty, disgusting vac pump. It's a 3.5 CFM pump, and if you're wondering what that means is how much lifting power it has. Like, they make a 1.5. A 3.5 CFM is a good middle of the road, so this is my El Cheapo one. I got a Master Cool one that's pretty good, 5 CFM, 6 CFM actually. But anyways, when we turn this on, you can hear it kind of make like that gurgling. Now it's going to stop doing that, and it's going to start doing it. Now that lets you know that it's actually sucking air, and it'll change to a constant rhythm, and I'll be back to let you hear that here in a second. So now we basically have our system vacuumed out. Even though my gauges look junky, they actually work really well from this old vacuum pump. You notice the noise. that doesn't have a whole lot of gurgling noise, which means we probably don't have any leaks. So then we would shut our valves off. We let this pump run for about 30-45 minutes to suck out as much as we can as far as contaminants go. So then we would shut that off and we'd leave that sitting there for a little while. And if our gauge raise back up, that means we know we have another leak in the system. That helps you before you put your Freon in there. I realize that the stores sell them little cans that have them stupid little gauges on them, but they don't tell you anything. If you have been doing this for a while, or even if you're kind of just a slash amateur, it doesn't take too long to pick up on what these needles mean. And you can do a little bit of research on it, but one of them is the evaporator and one of them is the condenser. The condenser is in front of your automobile. Basically what's happening, and this goes for the same for any kind of car, it doesn't matter what it is, like I said, you're having a molecular change. It's almost like a circle. So at one part of the circle you have a liquid, and then at the other part of the circle you have a gas, and it works under pressure and temperature. Okay, Freon, I believe, boils at 122 degrees, or I'm sorry, 22 degrees, not 122 degrees. 22 degrees, which basically means it goes from a liquid state to a gas state because it's boiling off. How they do that is through the line. So if you notice, one of the lines is really big. That's going to be your liquid line. The other line is small. That's your gas line. And what happens is, through pressure, it forces that into a gas, and it just keeps on making the circle all the way around in your system. That's why it's hot and cold. On the inside of your automobile, it uses the moisture that's inside the air to actually make that molecular change. It drags that across your evaporator, which is located in the inside of your car, and turns that back into gas. And then once again goes through the condenser. It's kind of a little bit more complicated than that, but the idea is still there. Liquid, gas, it's just making a circle. Your compressor is like a little engine, and it just pumps up Freon and stuff. Sorry I get into all this rambling and stuff. It's just one of them things. I'm really passionate about this stuff. I really like it. And I hate to see people come and pay me to do this because it's relatively simple. And the tools that are required to do it are very simple. Generally, when you have a leak, it's pretty easy for me to find it anyways, but I've been doing this for about 15 years. So even with that, if I didn't think you could do it in your driveway, I wouldn't recommend it to you because I hate to see you waste money. But a set of gauges and maybe a little vacuum pump wouldn't be bad investment if you're helping your friends out. You want to be that cool guy that everybody goes to, just like me. Not so cool here though. Anyways, so now we're going to fill it up, and what we're looking for is when our pump is running, we want to approximately be between 30 and 45. Depending on the humidity outside is what this gauge is going to represent. But all you have to do is pretty much put your hand in front of your vents, and it'll tell you when to stop. Now, you don't want your pressure sign to go over 200 while it's running. It may go up to 250 or 300 if it's running, and then your fan should kick on. If your fan doesn't come on as soon as you fill your Freon in there and you turn your air conditioner on, you need to stop immediately and get your electric fan fixed, because that is very, very crucial to the operation of your air conditioning system. Without it, it won't function. It might function when you're going down the highway, but what it's going to do is it's going to overpressurize and blow your bleed off valve out, emptying out your Freon that you just went to AutoZone and paid 34 bucks for, you know, a pound of Freon when you could have bought for about 80, you could have bought 30, 20. So we'll show you that here. Now for optimal performance, you're probably going to want to weigh out your Freon. There's generally a little sticker that says R134A, and it tells you how much Freon to put in there. It's located underneath your hood. Mine is obviously missing. If you are missing this cover right here between your radiator and your condenser, you really need that as well, because you need to be able to pull that air back off of there. But remember what I said, we're going to do this the clay way, and that's my way, so I'm going to fill it up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the Freon, and hopefully my AC compressor kicks on. If it doesn't, I'm going to stop the video and I'll go do something else and figure out how to get it to kick on. Now remember what I also said, we're going to want to bring this up, and there it just jumped up, so my AC compressor came on. It's probably going to cycle a couple times. We're going to run this to about 150 to 200 psi, and we're going to see where we're at. I constantly shut my gauges off because I know where I want to be as long as I watch my needle and it drops down below 20. I want it to be between 30 to 45, preferably 35. Generally, that's your temperature output on the inside of your vehicle. You can pretty much almost always go up to 150 psi, but I'm just being cautious because I'm making the video and I don't want you to overfill your system, because then you'll have to take some of it out. So I'm trying to get a consistent rhythmic pattern with my air conditioning, and I'm trying to allow Freon to flow into there, but because my tank is a little bit low, it's taking a little bit longer than I normally does. Your air conditioning is only going to fill as long as your gauges are on. So I recommend hitting it, turning the gauge, opening the valve while the compressor is actually running, so it sucks in that Freon, because it's only going to suck it in during the time that it's running. Now I know my AC compressor, when my AC compressor goes on and off, even if I can't hear it, because my needle will spike higher. When it's on, it'll be lower. Now I got a consistent pattern in my air conditioning operation, so I want to turn it off and see where my needle lands. I'm still running in the 25, and I'll bet if I went into the automobile, the vehicle would be cold, but it still doesn't have enough Freon in it. Sorry to take up so much of your guys' time by watching the video. You skip past this stuff. Now I have a good pattern. I'm running approximately 35 degrees or 35 psi, which should be my output inside the automobile. Could be a little bit less. Could be right around 30. That would be great. It doesn't freeze up because of the evaporation of the air, and it takes the moisture outside of it. Hopefully this video is helpful. This kind of shows you how we do it, or how I do it. Not we do it, because I would say there's a lot more professional guys than me. I try to do this stuff so you can do it at home, because I know that that's why you're watching the videos, so you can do it at home, or at least understand what is going on with your automobile. God bless you. Have a great day. Don't be the next to them. Be the first to use. Share and subscribe. I greatly, greatly appreciate your nice comments. If you want to reach out to me on Clay's AC and Auto Repair on the Facebook, you're more than welcome to. I certainly try to answer all your questions that you guys give me. Thank you so much.